Welcome back, boys and girls. The Four Outdoorsmen podcast on aliveandsocial.com. Thanks for checking in, gang. Just off of the South Dakota, the Minnesota deer opener, the Wisconsin deer opener out in front of us. There's ducks out there to be blasted. Geese will be on the move here pretty soon.
Walleye to be caught chasing the emerald shiners up the rivers.
I didn't get out duck hunting this weekend, but I did. A buddy of mine went out on Bald Eagle. We took the boat out and did.
I like big bucks and I cannot lie. You love them, deny. Then when a buck walks past, you stand real fast. You want to pull up your gun and blast and go boom. Dropping dead on his back, but first I better have a nice rack. Because if you think I'll shoot a doe, I'll tell you there, guy, heck no. Oh, some guys, they'll even take shots at an itty bitty doe that still has spots, but I don't shoot for venison meat. I'll shoot a cow if I want to eat. Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't make any sales today, right?
No sales.
Welcome to the Four Outdoorsmen, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook.com/The Four Outdoorsmen, or you can listen to us on www.the4outdoorsmen, the number 4.com.
You know, Boomer, this is the only reason we bring you here, because Zepp and I can't remember this crap. So thanks for being
You
here.
know what I do remember? I remember.
You got to know your place, right, Stu?
You're a good man.
I remember Blue 42 Media did a nice job putting our website together for us.
Yep.
Cooking up a nice banner for us. You guys know we're going to be at the Hardwater Expo. I think that's the first weekend in July. Or first weekend. I'm just not. You know what it is? It's our guest tonight. I was on the internet for like 3 hours today.
You were too busy creeping her on Facebook.
No, I was researching. Not creeping, researching. And I'm a little nervous about our guest tonight. But anyway, the first weekend in December over at the River Center, the Hardwater Expo, and Blue 42 Media has put together this beautiful banner for us.
Actually, I think the Hardwater Expo is the weekend of November 21st.
Oh,
No, that's the one that's it. That's the one that's at in Blaine, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the one we're doing.
Same one, yep.
I think so. Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's where it is
If
this
they
year.
sign the contract.
I hope you did, because you just got some nice plugs on the Four Outdoorsmen.
That's kind of a reunion for us, because when we were the Ticket Outdoors a couple of years back, with our first broadcast out in the field was the Hardwater Expo. I think.
No, actually, it was the St. Paul Ice Fishing Show.
Well, whatever.
I get those two confused. That's the one that's the first weekend
It's
in
ice
December.
fishing.
Yes.
It's winter stuff.
But it's hard to think about winter when the weather's so warm, bucks are in rut.
Yeah.
God, guys, I was out in northern Minnesota, up in Bacchus. Nicole and I went up there, and it was at camp. You know, Dad was there. I had Thane there, and yes, we were
Here he
chasing.
goes. Yeah, Mark's all excited.
And we did not shoot a deer in my deer stand.
No.
But we did see 4 deer. I saw a monster buck down the end of the trail.
Now wait a minute. You told us a story just before we got on the air, and you said you never saw the horns. You just lied. You lied to the public.
No, I am not lying.
It had a big butt.
It had a big butt, and big butts cannot lie. But it was a monster deer. We saw a couple doe, but the cool thing is, if you go to the Facebook.com/The Four Outdoorsmen, you can see the video. We had a button buck. It was actually a button buck.
Right, we saw
on the
that.
stand for about 30 minutes.
That's fun.
That's kind of cool. It gets your heart pumping a little bit, you know?
He'll be ready to go in 4 or 5.
He'll be ready to go in 4 or 5. But, you know, Thane did shoot a nice little spike deer.
Yeah.
And
Good eating.
Good eating.
That's
you know, the
tender.
back straps wrapped in bacon are going to be good. But heard a lot of gunshots early in the morning and in the evening. But I tell you what, they are definitely in rut, because when we are harvesting that expired spike that Thane had shot, you know, you could smell the must. You know, that spike.
Oh, yeah.
It went right to the buck bomb, too, boys.
There's that magical timer on the rifle opener where they call it the overlap, and that's where you get the rut and the doe and estrus, and they overlap for about a week period where the bucks are just silly crazy out of their mind. I mean, you might be able to walk up and hog tie them and throw them down and take them back alive. They're
I
so
told you
crazy
last year
horny.
when Diane and I were driving down Highway 8 from our cabin in Chetek, Wisconsin, there was an 8-point buck during buck season, during deer hunting season. It was running parallel to Highway 8, back and forth, right out in the open. A huge 8-point buck. It was just going crazy. Had no idea what it was doing.
Yeah, we had one out in the hills one year, just a little 3x3 that had his nose glued to the ground and practically ran right up to the truck. I'm like, I can't even. I'm sitting. I've got the rifle laying out over the hood. I'm like, I'm not even going to shoot him. I think he's going to come up and eat out of my hand. But then I shot him.
You know what's interesting, Zepp, is you called that buck a 3x3, and Strew called it an 8-point, and that kind of gets into the discussion of, like, when you move out west, you call a buck, you get into muleys and whitetails. They call it, you know, the horns by one side. You know, you got a 4x4 or a 3x3. But here in Minnesota, we add them all together. It's
I keep
cool,
trying to
it?
remember that. Yeah, right. Because over here in Minnesota, it took me a while to get used to that. Some guy was like a 10-pointer. I went, a 10x10? He said, no, 5x5. It was a 10-pointer or something.
Now in Zepp's life in Minnesota, he rates the women 36D. Out in the Dakotas are Emersons, aren't they? Is that what they are?
Emersons.
Emerson big uns, yeah.
Some big uns. Now, Mark,
South Dakota, we're just excited to see a doe.
Producer Mark, did you get out this weekend and do anything?
I did not. I did not at all.
Okay, we're going to move on. Zepp,
And
what
the
did
three
you do this
outdoorsmen.
weekend?
You know, I did not get out duck hunting, just way too busy Sunday morning.
Busy?
Well, you know what happens when you have that charity work on Saturday evenings.
The wildlife interrupted my pursuing the wildlife. Let me just put it that way. But I did want to thank Scott for rowing us on out to the middle of Bald Eagle, and we just did a little fishing. It was
Bald Eagle?
Good for the hangover, and just caught some smallies in that 12 to 14-inch range, and pitched them all back. I didn't even keep any. We just went out and did a little fishing, had a couple of beers in the boat. Up in your neck of the, well, I guess that's a little further north of you.
Just got a little bit, not too far.
Just a little bit. So got out because it was such a beautiful day Sunday. But, I think the duck migration I see over in the South Dakota border really looks to be happening over there. And I don't know if it's the warmer weather we've had in November. Shoot 'em.
Shoot them. Take them.
But, it's just been spotty here in Minnesota as far as the migration. Has it really taken off? Some guys said, oh, no, it's just not cool enough yet. The weather's not nasty enough. And other guys are like, the birds are coming in from the north. I guess it depends where you're at.
Yeah, I was talking to Tanner out at Devil's Lake Tourism earlier today, and he said that they're starting to see some of the snow geese in Devil's Lake. So even though you got warmer weather out there in Devil's Lake, when the snow geese start to come in, those big green-head mallards are starting to come in. But he was pretty pumped because he just went out elk hunting. Maybe we'll have him on next week to get what's going on in Devil's Lake. But he said they're still catching a lot of walleyes near the bridges. So you got 6 Mile, you got Pelican, you got a lot of different places. A jig in the middle, a jig and wrap, all that kind of stuff. The bite is still really strong for walleyes out there in Devil's Lake. But the thing that I'm pumped about for those hunters that are duck hunting out in Devil's Lake is they're starting to see the snow geese. And right after that comes those big 3-curl greenhead mallards.
Absolutely. And big flocks, too.
Oh, God. Tornadoes.
You should just be able to squat out there in the weeds and they'll land right on top of your head.
How come nobody asked me if I went hunting?
We were just getting around the table here to our fourth outdoorsman. It's true. The wild card. What'd you do this week?
Let's hear it.
There you go, Mark.
By the way, you have the distinction of being the only one that's received that sound effect since Mark has loaded it into the system.
I downloaded that especially for Stu.
Thanks a lot, you guys. No, I did not go out and shoot a white-tailed deer by any means, but I've done a lot of it, and I haven't done it for a couple of years. But I spoke to
next year. You're coming to our property.
I'm coming to your property.
So is Zepp, and so is producer Mark.
I spoke to Sarah Erlandson, who's the big buck hunter champion, and she's from Beldenville, Wisconsin. I talked to her yesterday for a few minutes when they were watching the Green Bay Packer game. I was giving her all kinds of sass because they're getting their asses kicked. And
Vikings 6-2, baby.
So I snuck out to his Pins bowling alley in Oakdale, and I tried the game myself. And I'll tell you what, I can take her on. I know I can take her on.
Nope,
that's a bold statement.
No,
that is a bold.
$20. I think she said you got to lay $20 down twice. That's what I was.
Did you even did you get a 3 for 3?
No, not a chance.
Yeah, I'm sure she stacks those up like cordwood.
But I tell you what, but that was a lot of fun. But I tell you what my highlight was, and we've got a few seconds here, I'm sure. Diana and I went to. Now listen, you'd be proud of me because I'm cheaper than a son of a bucket. You know that. But we went to.
You'd give a buffalo hemorrhoids on a nickel.
You guys have to go to dinner with Diana and me because we went to Ruth's Chris, downtown Minneapolis here.
Did you have a gift certificate?
Yes, we did. Yeah. But I tell you what, $100 gift certificate does not go far there.
No, that'll take that's your drinks.
You got an appetizer.
A steak was $48, and I saved 75 cents by going from the restaurant to the bar to buy my own cocktails. Yeah. It's a lot of money. But I tell you what,
Did you bring your flask with?
No, I didn't. But I brought I had a doggy bag. Anyway, so we bought the $48 steak. So two of them's $96. That's about it. It's going to cost a lot of money, but I got lucky.
How much for one rib?
Now, this is the second time I got lucky in the last 3 weeks with going out to restaurants. As they're bringing this gorgeous steak to us, and the plate is hot and the steak is sizzling. Honestly, God, this actually happened. The steak spit some grease into my eye. And I actually got the waitress as well in the arm. And they thought, my God. I said, you okay? I stood up and said, is there an attorney around here? And so anyway, so they went and got me a towel, wiped my eye. And it's not a big deal. It's gone about 5 seconds. But they gave me my meal for free. It's a
What? Really?
A $48 steak and a cocktail for free.
He didn't even have to take that mouse out of his pocket.
Oh, man. I felt like Michael Keaton in, what was the one when he was, he rented apartments all the time and bought his own cockroaches. Remember that?
I'm thinking of Strange Brew. There's a mouse in my beer, eh?
Yeah. Anyway, so we had a great time. And Ruth's Chris, that's a one-and-done deal. That's going there is like going to the Grand Canyon. It's a one-and-done deal. It's way too expensive for me, but it was wonderful. Had a lot of fun.
You know what, though? We were talking a little bit earlier about, deer opener here in Minnesota. And, Zepp, you had some interesting facts, right? Looks
over
like
68,000 deer harvested for opening weekend. And, I talked about that overlap. And, I guess some people may argue when it is. The experts said that the overlap happened beautifully right over the weekend. 6th through the 9th, there was that overlap of the rut and the estrus. So the buck were really moving and the doe were really leading them around by the nose. And over 68,000 deer harvested. And don't quote me on this. I read it earlier today, but I think right around that 30%, up 30% from last year on the harvest. So not a lot of people got skunked like Boomer did.
Well, I didn't see any wolves.
I'll tell you what, our buddy Dave Orrick got skunked. Did you read his article Sunday morning? Read his article. It's a great article. Dave's a great guy.
You just ask if we read something.
Yeah.
It's got to be on a video from
my age. He's one of our frequent guests, but he did a lot of research. Didn't have time to go out and way up north, way down south, whatever. So he found a place locally within a half an hour of the Twin Cities that was public land that nobody goes to. So read the article in the St. Paul Pioneer Press. It's Dave Orrick. He's the outdoor news editor for the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Does he reveal the location?
He does not. He's like Boomer in his GPS stuff. He doesn't reveal
public land near the metro that is that nobody's hunting. That's
about it.
Makes me very curious.
Well, I tell you what, with the warm temps, I was up in we were staying in the Walker Bay area, and God, I wish I would have had the Illumicraft T-Pro up there. And a big shout out to those folks in St. Peter that have sponsored our show at Illumicraft. The bite is still hot there in Walker Bay area. They were catching a lot of fish. God, I wish I would have had that T-Pro out there. Would have handled it nicely. Big boat, all the storage.
Our buddy, for those of you guys who have not listened to the Four Outdoorsmen on liveandsocial.com, Boomer is our fishing expert. He's the man. Zepp is the hunting expert. Well, I'm just the a-hole who has a lot of fun here. But let's talk about the big muskie. My Lord.
Oh, fly fishing world record. I forget what it weighed out.
With a fly rod.
With a fly rod.
Wow.
Fly fishing world record muskie, 57 inches. Don't know what it weighed out. On Mille Lacs over the weekend.
It's nuts.
And I don't have the article here in front of me. He put me on the spot. We got to get this guy on. I know they're doing.
I sent him a message. I think we might have him on next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I can't even.
But all right, it's the time of the year, though, guys. We talked about this last week when we were up on Mille Lacs with Jimmy Bell from Illumicraft, and Nicole and I were chasing those big smallies, and we got into them. Right. A lot of muskie fishermen were up there last week because those tulipies will move into the bay, and that's what the muskie fishermen absolutely love, because those tulipies group up and the muskies just go nuts.
You know what's blowing our mind, Boomer? It's the fly fishing. It's a fly fishing world record muskie. He was targeting muskie, right? I mean, I don't know.
I don't
know.
He had to have been. Yeah.
I mean, you've got to be, because you can't be out there with a little fly
and a
rod. 6-pound test.
Yeah, so you're not, when you're using a fly rod, you're not using one of those 7, 8, 9-inch lures, are you? What are you using for what is this
probably
thing?
A big bucktail or something like that.
Yeah, something.
It
had to be top water.
You're not pitching a 2-pound sucker bait or something like that.
One more story about the restaurant at Ruth's Chris. Nice place, by the way. I go to get my cocktails and Diana's, and honest to God, there's a guy sitting there who had a few cocktails before him. It's happy hour, because like old people, Diana and I show up at 4:45. They open up at 5 o'clock, and
early bird special.
Yeah, early bird special, and this guy's sitting
Senior
at the end of the bar,
pricing.
And he's sweet talking some young lady. He said, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" And she said, "I'll tell you what." She said, "You'd have a better chance if you lost about 30 pounds and washed your hair." He said, "If I did that, I'd be talking to her."
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Four Outdoorsmen on Alive and Social and iTunes. Follow us on Facebook.com/The Four Outdoorsmen, or you can listen to us at www.the4outdoorsmen with the number 4.
You guys always talking about downloading the show. Can we download our website as well? I mean, the 4 Outdoorsmen, or just the
Well, you
podcast?
can save it actually as a bookmark from your iPhone, so you can just click on the link.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Or if you do subscribe to us on iTunes, it will give you a notification when a new show comes up.
I got it. All right, go ahead, Mark. Producer Mark, what do
I'd
you got
like
going,
to thank
pal?
our sponsor, Coors Light.
Hey!
Yeah.
I'm going to play a quick clip from Sarah's promotional video, and then we'll call her right away.
Okay.
I play Big Buck Hunter because I love video games, I love being in a bar, I love drinking, and I love the competitiveness that
It's
it
a perfect
brings.
woman.
I love
My
you.
biggest rival is Melinda Van Humissen. Melinda took my title last year, and I didn't feel too good about it going home with that orange second place gun and a smaller check, so I knew I had to come back and win it this year. It feels amazing to having gained my title back. Big Buck Hunter has evolved drastically. And then this year, gosh, I was just hoping for those new animals because I just love that aspect of surprise. You just come here to have fun. You're shooting Buck Hunter. It's all about fun, really. My name is Sarah Erlinson. I'm the 2014 Ladies Tourney Champion, and I look forward to 2015 when any girl would like to challenge me for these jugs.
I isolated that for later.
When
That's-
any girl would like to challenge me for these jugs.
That's funny.
I've never been more turned on in my
That is-
entire
Let's give Sarah a
life.
call. Let's see if this works.
All right, Sarah
Okay,
Erlinson.
Stu just left to the bathroom.
Yeah, Zep's got the wrong mic in his hand right now.
If you go to our Facebook page, what do you say, / the 4 Outdoorsmen?
Yep. With the
You'll
number.
find a video and a photograph of Sarah on there with her trophy, and she's a stunner.
Oh, Clyde's Corner.
Hi, is this Sarah?
This is Sarah.
She's at the bar.
I am.
Welcome to the 4 Outdoorsmen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Wait, I thought we were calling Melinda.
Oh,
No, don't hang up on
wrong
us, Sarah.
state, wrong time zone.
Don't hang up on us. Sarah Erlinson, and you're at Clyde's Corner.
Yep, Clyde's Corner Bar in Beldenville, Wisconsin.
Is Clyde dad?
Clyde is my husband.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, Clyde is my dad. Different guy,
Oh.
I'm assuming, but my dad is Clyde. My grandfather is Clyde.
You thought
so
Sarah was with your dad?
Yeah.
My dad should be so lucky. Sarah, you're a beautiful woman, and you're that perfect Midwest girl next door. And more than that, you're a 4-time women's big buck hunting champion. That's, super impressive.
Thank you.
We don't have a 4 Outdoorsman trophy, but if we did, you would get it.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, by the way, Sarah, you're talking to Brian Zepp. He did not introduce himself.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
Brian Zepp from the 4 Outdoorsmen. Keep going, Brian.
Well,
Hi, Brian.
I actually have a question. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the show. It's Boomer. Thanks for being on. How did you get into being a big buck hunter champion? I mean, did you just start playing it at your husband's bar, or how did that take place?
Yeah, well, 6 years ago, it was my husband and I and my parents decided it'd be a good idea to open another bar in Wisconsin, and we've had the game in
Funny.
Clyde's since day one. So I've always been a gamer, and it was an intriguing game with the plastic shotguns, and so I just played ever since.
So while Clyde and your parents were working their tails off, you were screwing around over at the buck hunter game.
Yep, I was in the dark corner playing the game.
You pretty girls get all the easy jobs. I have a sister just like you.
And my guess is she's playing it for free.
Yeah.
No.
Right? Oh, yes,
I
you
can't.
are.
No, I don't own the game, so I have
Yeah.
to pay just
She
like
had-
everybody
You can't
else.
do the old
Shit.
trick. Remember, you went up to the video game and you'd rub your foot against the carpet and put the quarter against the old steel thing.
Yeah, that doesn't work with these sophisticated. They
Right,
figured
the
us
fish line.
out.
The fish line, drill a hole in the quarter. I
She had,
used to do that.
she had to go over to Clyde's till and kick it open and rob it of all the quarters there or dollars. By the way, I'm just curious because you're so young. Your husband Clyde, that must be a family name because I know it was on our.
Yeah, his real name is Jared, right? Your husband's name?
Yep, his name is Jared,
There
and
you
his
go.
middle name is Clyde. He had an uncle named Clyde.
Well, I can't wait to run on out to Clyde's Corner and challenge you in a game of buck hunter.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, I know. I read the story, and you said guys will walk into the bar and they'll challenge, put $10 down, a friendly wager perhaps, to take on sweet little Sarah here in a game of buck hunter, and you school them.
Yeah, that happens more often than not.
Now everybody in the area knows you're a 4-time champion. Nobody must mess with you now.
Well, I mean, there is the innocent bystander that'll come in every once in a while.
And a little liquid courage. And I bet you can't beat, we'll just pick somebody randomly. Sarah, have you ever played Buck Huntress? Why don't you come over and play this?
And play her.
Big tough guy. Talk about how, now I don't know much. We had the guy champion
last
on
year, right?
Last year, yeah.
And he was also from Wisconsin.
Also, those Scotty folks, they know.
Scotty folks, they know the bars.
Yeah, they know how to hang out in a bar and play video games. But so, Sarah, tell us, we know how you got started. You just started playing there in Clyde's Corner, but how do you get involved and become a big champion doing it? I mean, is it a tournament that came to the bar? Is it something you went, wow, I'm just really good at this, so I'm going to go look for a tournament?
Well, it's all through the operator involvement. It's whoever brings the games into the bar. If they're active in the community and they realize that there's potential for some tournament play or, championship type players, then they let you know, like, hey, there's a world championship in this, and all you have to do is play these monthly tournaments and qualify for the championship. So it really comes down to the operator.
Sarah, so you must start like in Minnesota, like in Beldenville, then go to Madison, then go to Minnesota, Minneapolis. It must spread and spread and spread, right? I mean,
well, actually, it's just a qualifying tournament that everybody in the United States plus 2 from Australia and 2 from Canada qualify. So everyone has a certain period of time to play these tournaments and get the best scores possible.
Okay.
And then the top 64 get to go to the World Championship.
And you kicked the Canadians' ass, right?
You know what? I personally didn't get to play him, but yeah, he lost out pretty quick.
Good. That's all I care about is that we're kicking the Canadians' ass.
How many women are involved in this tournament when it starts, Sarah?
In the women's championship, there's 32. And then in the World Championship, which is a separate tournament played on Saturday, there's 64.
So is there a men's division, a women's division, and then like a unisex division where it doesn't matter what sex you are, you compete for the World Championship?
A unisex? I think it's called bisexual.
5 years ago, they actually started the ladies' tournament because they've always had a Friday night party, and it was just a way for them to get more player involvement and obviously to make the party more interesting.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is actually the main event, and that is the World Championship, and that is between 64 guys and gals and unisex. It doesn't matter.
Oh, wait a second. So when you talk about recently winning the national championship, is that across the board, guys and gals?
No, this is the ladies' World Championship.
Hey, Sarah, how was the competition? This is Steve Straczynski. We spoke yesterday, and thanks for being on the Four Outdoorsmen. How was the competition changed in the last 4 years? I'm guessing the first year this was a cakewalk for you. Then all of a sudden it gets tougher and tougher and tougher. Was this the toughest year? Because you lost last year to Melinda, right? And Melinda, she's going to be on next week, right? No, she's not going to be on next week.
I heard Melinda disappeared. Nobody's seen her.
Yeah, she jumped us. Yeah, she's on top
behind
of the post
Clyde's
office
bar
right now.
somewhere.
Someone shot her with an orange gun.
Has the competition gotten tougher in the last 4 years?
Well, actually, when I started, I don't know if you remember the Big Buck World with the old cabinet.
Yes.
You remember that? It was the Pro and then the Safari.
Right.
So that's actually what I won on first. And then since then, it's evolved into the Big Buck HD. So I've won that competition, and then that's what we're playing on now. So, yeah, I mean, the competition is getting way harder every year. I mean, these new players, I'm not getting any younger. They're getting better.
So, Sarah, how much money have you won playing Big Buck? Well, the IRS is not listening, by the way. But how much money have you hypothetically won playing this video game?
Tournament-wise, I've won about $20,500.
Holy God Almighty!
God Almighty!
All right,
that's more than all our salaries combined, Sarah.
But that doesn't include like the random people that come into the bar.
All right. All right.
I want to set something up here. Now, I talked to Sarah yesterday, like I said, and I called her during the Green Bay Packer game. You couldn't hear anything in Clyde's. As a matter of fact, Zep, you've got to take your motorcycle down to Clyde, to Beldenville, stop in Clyde sometime and try to kick her ass, see how it goes.
I know where Beldenville's at, and I'm not waiting for spring. I'll be down there.
How far of a drive is that?
This fall. It's 40 minutes,
no, it's more
45.
It's a good hour.
I thought it's over by Ellsworth.
Yeah.
No, it's under an hour.
Was it really?
Yeah, about 45 minutes.
with you driving
I used to drive to Minneapolis every day for work. On a good day, it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, the speed limit in Wisconsin's like 85, 90 miles an hour.
Yeah. And you can drive blindfolded too. It's fine.
Anyway, so I talked to her yesterday and prepared her for the show today and thanked her for being on tonight and whatnot.
Thank you, Sarah.
I thought I would do something to try to set her up and find out more about her background because, if she's the world champion big buck hunter, she's got to have a hell of a hunting background, an athletic background.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, so let's talk about
see
it.
if this works.
All right. Kathy Gooding, Gutting, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And Kathy, are you're Sarah Erlinson's mother?
Ooh.
That's correct.
And Sarah is the world champion big buck hunter. Am I correct?
4 times.
4 times. Holy buckets. Well, I tell you what, tomorrow, before our radio show, I'm going to go out there and give it a shot myself and see if I can kick her ass just in numbers. How are things at Clyde's Corner in Beldenville, Wisconsin?
Things are great. Sarah and Jared, her husband Jared, they run the place and they do an awesome job.
Does Jared know he misspelled his first name?
Pardon?
I said, does Jared know he misspelled his first name? No, not.
Spelled his first name.
Well, I've never seen it spelled like that. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Sarah. Sarah's been now. You guys were born. She was born and raised in Beldenville. Give me some dirt on Sarah. We want to embarrass her when I give her a call tomorrow night. Give me some dirt, something that's embarrassing, some humiliating story from her childhood or whatever.
Well, Sarah just goes with the flow. She's so easygoing, and I couldn't quite think of anything really embarrassing that has happened to her, but a lot of events to realize. I guess one of the things I thought of is what a wimp she is.
Your daughter, Sarah, the big buck hunting champion, is a wimp.
Uh-oh.
That's my kind of mother. Well, tell me why. She loves you.
Well, the lowest grade she ever got was in Fayette.
Yep.
In gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't figure that out. Well, she danced. She was in dance.
Yep.
And
Cute.
during Fayette, she was more focused on practicing her dance routines out in the ball field or whatever than, playing the sport. And so then, I could just see her doing her tap dance on first base or out in right field.
Well, the world champion big buck hunter is a wimp, but I'll tell you what, that's going to be fun. I'm going to give her all kinds of sass tomorrow night on the 4 Outdoorsman on aliveandsocial.com. Have everybody listen. I'll tell you what, we'll give you a call and I'll tell you.
There you go.
Nobody knows you like Mom knows.
Oh, your
you.
mother loves you, Sarah. She
Are
really
you
loves
blushing,
you.
Sarah?
Awesome.
Now, do you flash any of those dance moves in the bar anymore?
Oh, gosh. You would be scared if I did that.
Well, Sarah, do you like to get out and hunt at all?
Actually, just last year, I got my hunter safety license.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
That a girl? Go get it.
So I have been on several small game hunts. Not deer hunting yet. Hopefully this year.
Yeah. That's right. You guys have the opener coming up, I think, this weekend out in Wisconsin, right?
In 2 weekends.
But
Is it
she does
2 weekends?
fish.
The 21st.
Sarah I did become friends with her Facebook official today, and I did look, and she does fish. You do fish, right, Sarah?
Yes, I love to fish.
I got to imagine a young couple like yourselves running a bar, that probably takes up a lot of your time.
You know what does? It's easier to get away on the weekdays.
Yeah.
Which works out because the Rush River is just only maybe a 10-minute drive from us. So trout fishing is great.
Yeah, I tell you what, since Sarah mentioned firearm safety, don't hang up, Sarah. We're going to talk to you for a few more minutes for sure. But we're going to talk about one of our sponsors, Lakes Trading Company. If you need some help with your firearm, you're looking to buy a new or used 30-06, conceal or carry classes, Lakes Trading Company in Forest Lake is the #1 facility in the Northeast Metro, probably even the entire Twin Cities. Joe and Ben and their crew provide new and used firearms, ammunition and accessories, 25-yard shooting range, permit to carry classes, competitive shooting leagues, and Friday night is ladies' night. That's when Zep wants to go out there.
Just to help out.
Yeah, where the babes get discounted range rates. You didn't know about that. Appetizers, instructors, And one of the instructors is a sharpshooter named Kayla who works out there, and she'll give you a hand. By the way, don't give Kayla any crap because you tell me this now. Kayla's favorite firearm is a Sig Sauer P938 Blackwood. What the hell is that?
That's an outstanding firearm. Yes. I have a Sig Sauer myself, a P20 something.
226?
No, 220, I think. I'd have to go back and look at that. It's one of the older models, but anything that starts with Sig Sauer is a rockin' handgun.
It's true. That was really good off the top of your head.
Well, anyway, you can even rent out the entire Lakes Trading Company range for that special group function. Lakes Trading Company is at 95 Southwest 8th Avenue in Forest Lake. Check them out at lakestradingcompany.com. Thanks for being our sponsor. Back to Sarah.
All right, Sarah, how many times a week do you play Big Buck Hunter?
Oh, geez. Gearing up for the World Championship 7 days.
When was the World Championship?
It was October 23rd and 24th in Chicago.
Oh, so that's kind of a cool trip. You get to go to Chicago to do this?
Yeah, it's a blast.
Does it get, with you ladies, does it get a little competitive? Now, Buck Hunter, are you competing side by side against each other? Do they let you go as singles?
You're competing side by side, so you're both shooting at the same thing.
I've gotten the elbow going with the buddy, and that's over like a $5 game. And we've done a little hip checking there at the machine.
Yeah.
I'm sure that now this is a world championship. This isn't screwing around in Clyde's Corner in Beldenville. I mean, this is so you've got officials and the whole thing there, but it must get. I mean, is there any trash talking?
Maybe on the side, but not when you're on stage competing.
Anybody you just hate to see step up the machine, you just want
to
crush them.
Melinda.
Well, that might be a healthy competition, but is it Melinda?
Now,
I mean, is it?
No. I mean, of course I want to win, but I mean, over the years, honestly, we're kind of good friends.
Oh, don't you want to see her cry though?
Come on, cry it up.
No, I can't say I do.
Okay, so now, you've got the national championship under your belt. Obviously, you're still hungry for another one, so you're driving on. What's up with Big Buck Hunter? Last time I played was probably about a year ago. Is there a new one coming out?
Yeah, they're actually coming out with Bighorn sheep in April.
Ooh, yeah, rocking.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, you're a Vikings fan, huh?
Oh, you're not going to say that.
6-2, girl.
Yeah.
Come on, Boomer. Don't worry, Sarah. I'm a Packer guy too. We'll get him.
Good.
So, Sarah,
good against the Lions.
I want to ask you a question that every guy in here wants to know. Can you talk about your jugs, your lucky jugs?
Oh, my jugs of destiny. Yeah. Yeah.
When any girl would like to challenge me for these jugs.
So you take these jugs around with you, and can you tell us the backstory on that?
Well, it's for the World Championship. They have a trophy. It's called Pappy's Jug, and Pappy is the older guy on the game who's kind of their mascot. So anyways, for the ladies' tournament, they came up with the Jugs of Destiny. So it's 2 moonshine jugs, mounted, trophy style.
Yeah.
And I actually don't get to keep them. They just engrave my name on the back every year.
Oh, that's fun.
So it passes around like the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
Kind of like we're passing your photographs around.
Yeah, we're looking on Facebook right now. Sarah, what's up with you in a dress in the duck blind holding the gun?
Yeah, you're modeling. You are.
Is that how you duck hunt?
That was after I had won 2 championships. I just wanted to do something fun.
That's worth $25,000 right there, if you ask me.
Yeah.
That's
and
fun.
I had that. The championship was in New York that year. And I had that dress custom made.
Hey, Sarah, when you do these major competitions, do you pay for your own expenses to get there?
Yes.
Okay. So you better win some money, right? You better win some money to make it worth your while. Although, like you say, no one's going to get rich in this game and you're making a few bucks, having a good time. But I'm guessing the competition is more important than the couple of grand in the long run.
Yeah, because it really is all about just, seeing each other, seeing the best players in the world, and we party.
I bet you do.
I can't imagine. So, Sarah, do you have any? I think the guy that we had on had like Busch Light as a sponsor or something like that. Do you have any sponsors that behind you?
Yep.
You should have
I've
Coors
been
Light.
sponsored by Old Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, well, you're out in that territory. How about a sponsor?
Yep.
How about a sponsorship from the 4 Outdoorsmen?
Yes.
I mean, it's not a monetary. It's not a monetary sponsorship.
Moral support.
Purely promotional.
Right, exactly. So if I come over there to Clyde's Corner, you'll take me on in the game of Buck Hunter.
Absolutely.
Will you let me?
Anytime.
Will you let me stay in the game? Will you baby me a little bit?
No.
That's wonderful. Hey, Sarah, tell me about the Monopoly game. What's so big about the Monopoly game at Clyde's Corner in Beldenville?
We just have a jumbo Monopoly game. I think it's a 6 foot by 6 foot board, and you play with real money.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then since the game takes about 5 hours, you got people buying beer at Clyde's Corner.
Yes. And you better plan on staying overnight because you're not going to be sober when you leave.
Oh, it's so funny you should bring that up. We just came out with some new 4 Outdoorsman gear, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we got some new T-shirts out there.
Okay, so if I run Sarah over one of our T-shirts, you'll wear one during one of your Buck Hunter competitions?
Of course I will.
Yeah, I mean one of the starter ones, not a championship or anything like that. But yeah, okay, we'll
or the championship.
I'll tell you what. I know you guys have a busy schedule. I will personally run over there, give her the T-shirt, and take a photograph for our website because I'm a company guy. I give. That's what I do.
That's awesome.
And then she'll kick my tail in a game of Buck Hunter.
Is there any like specific, like when I remember playing Big Buck Hunter, you can shoot many different animals and whatnot. Is there any specific animal track or whatnot that you're the best at, Sarah?
Ooh.
Or region.
I've always really liked kudu.
What the hell is that?
That's an animal you'd shoot in Africa.
Yeah, she's talking about Buck Hunter Safari.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's on this version too.
Oh, yeah, I don't know the.
kudu.
So Sarah,
Yeah.
do the animals run like a certain track? Do you know like how the animal starts? You're like, okay, this is where I know this kudu is going to show up or whatnot.
Yeah, after having played for so long, we got a pretty good idea of where they're coming from.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Okay.
take that T-shirt that I'm going to bring you, and before you put it on, I'm actually going to blindfold you with it, and then I'll play you in a game of Buck Hunter. Do
How
you think?
about I shoot left-handed?
You're just setting me up. So now I'm going to get my ass kicked by Sarah shooting left-handed. No, I like the blindfolded idea.
Hey, let me
better.
say something about this. When I was watching the Care 11 video from a couple of months back, whatever, I thought it was really cool. I thought, okay, Care 11's coming to interview Sarah and Clyde's Corner. Mom's going to be all the, and you think everybody would get ready for this big video. Mom shows up behind the bar with a beer bong T-shirt on.
Yeah.
That's why I love Scotty.
That's my mom.
I'm
yeah.
from South
Beer
Dakota.
bong.
I'm from South Dakota, Sarah. So there's
Well,
South
the
Dakota.
world's biggest beer bong is at Clyde's Corner.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I
Wow,
knew that.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
You better
That's in August.
you better have a
Maybe
sleeping
come
bag.
after that.
You better have a sleeping bag for Zep because he's not going home if he comes out there.
I'm going to bring my tent. It's not the first time I've set up behind a Wisconsin bar for the night.
Oh yeah.
One more
We got
question.
All kinds of room.
From me, okay, now you must have been. I'm not. Well, maybe you must have been a loser when you were a kid or something.
What?
Well, she must have been
Oh,
because
geez,
then
Stu.
why were you voted least likely to leave Beldenville?
Homer.
That's a good question.
Come on.
I don't know. Probably because I love it so much.
Okay. What about? Well,
Why
tell us.
would I ever leave?
Tell us
Why?
all about Beldenville. Never been there. What about Beldenville? What's so cool about Beldenville?
Well, there's Clyde's Corner.
There you
here.
go. And you. there you
And
go.
me.
Yeah,
And the
good for
world's
you.
biggest beer bong.
What I
And
think?
the world's biggest beer bong.
I bet.
So much.
Yeah, no kidding. I bet if you like Wikipedia Beldenville, I mean, you're the biggest celebrity to come
Yeah.
out of Beldenville.
Yeah, of course.
Sarah Erlandson, our guest tonight on the 4 Outdoorsmen. You've been a pretty good sport.
We got to go there.
I'm going over there and I'm taking her a T-shirt.
Zep, can we all go?
Yes, we can all go.
We're going to surprise you.
Boomer will need you because you're going to give us a ride back.
Boomer's the only one of this group that does not drink.
I'll be
Hey,
fine. I'll drive us back.
Sarah, are you there almost every day? You and Clyde and
Yep.
all right.
pretty
So
much every day.
so we can surprise you some evening, right?
Oh yeah.
All-
definitely.
We're going to do it. Don't be
God, what a
surprised.
great guest. If you're just tuning into the 4 Outdoorsmen, we have Sarah
Fun.
Erlandson. I think I just butchered her last name. And she carries around her lucky jugs, and
Yeah.
she is the national 2014 Big Buck Hunter champion for the women's division.
Well, you should
It's
see.
actually the world, because don't forget about Canada.
Oh, and Austria. Or Australia.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Down under.
And
Well,
Australia.
well,
That's a knife,
Right.
eh?
We're on the other side of the river over here, Sarah, but we're awfully proud of you, and we can't wait to come over and meet you sometime and
Well, thank you. Looking forward to it.
check out Clyde's Corner. Thank you very much, Sarah. We'll let you get back to work. And tell everybody over there we said hi and thank you for your time.
Hey, Sarah, can I buy a?
Thank you.
Do you guys sell spotted cow down there? Can I have a spotted cow?
Of course.
All right, that's
All
good.
right.
You can have several.
That's
Do you have
eight beers.
O'Doul's?
Ha!
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
You might get
Thank
beat up
you.
over there.
Oh, that's
Thanks.
fun. That's
God,
fun.
look at the Wild. They're up 4-1, boys. She
She's
was
cool.
just 1-1.
Yeah. Holy
When
God.
any girl would like to challenge me for these jugs.
Yes. As a
All
matter
right,
of fact,
back
Drew
to
would.
Sarah.
Yeah, she's just cool. And by the way, go to our Facebook page, / the 4 Outdoorsmen. Give it a
number
like.
4.
Give it a like. Oh, the number 4. Yeah, give it a like. And check out the video of Sarah. We've got the story of Sarah up and some photographs as well. And she's just a cool, scrawny gal. And I say that with all the affection I can possibly muster because there isn't one guy sitting around this table that at one time in his life didn't have a crush on a cool, scrawny gal. Even you, Drew.
Yeah, but in mine, the one I liked was black.
Okay.
Yeah, but there weren't a whole lot of black Wisconsin. Seriously, there weren't a whole lot of black Wisconsin girls when I was growing up.
Right, no.
And but yeah, I did have a crush on her.
Okay. No, don't look at me. You take it from here, buddy. I don't even know what to add to that. But
do we still have our license?
we never had one.
Yeah, I'll tell you
what.
But looking at Sarah's pictures and talking to Sarah. It reminds me of one of your favorite podcasts on liveandsocial.com.
Hey, the Wild are up 4-1.
The Great Northern Sex Cast. Okay?
The Sex Cast, yeah.
The Sex Cast?
I've been following
Sex
this.
Cast. We're doing a podcast, but somebody's doing a Sex Cast.
Well, longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and somebody else, I don't know what it is, Colleen Fortuna, the Great Northern Sex Cast. This show talks about all the things sex. Grab your headphones, learn everything you always wanted to know about sex and intimacy, but we're afraid to ask. To hear the latest episode and catch up on what you've missed, visit aliveandsocial.com. That's the Great Northern Sex Cast. I've listened to it a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's well worth listening to.
All right. Well, I'll check it out on liveandsocial.com. By the way, if you're listening to the podcast out there, share it with your friends. We've got mouths to feed, too. I don't know. Are we making money on this? I do want to thank Blue 42 Media again. Boomer, you know more about this place than I do because they've done such a crackerjack job on our website, The 4 Outdoorsmen with the number 4, and our Facebook page. Blue 42 Media, can they?
Yeah, Blue 42.
If I wanted a ZEP web page, they could put something together for me.
You betcha. Blue 42 is one of those media groups that specializes in websites and social media and has a real awesome niche in the outdoor industry, and I'm proud to be a part of that team, and they do a really nice job of web strategy, web design, digital strategy, all that kind of yuppie terms I'm about to use right now, but they did a really nice job. And if you go to www.the4outdoorsman.com, you'll get a feel for Go Blue 42, and you can also see that you can hit about 3 different buttons on the main page to listen to us at any time.
A really cool feature, and a lot of people don't know this. If you tag a photo, the number 4 Outdoorsman on Instagram, you can see it on our webpage. So if you shot a great deer, or you want to show our audience something, just hashtag the 4 Outdoorsmen.
That's a great idea. Let's start getting that stuff up on Facebook. You know, I've got a bunch of friends we all do on our various social media sites, but it's nice to be able to go to one place to see how everybody's doing and how they did over the weekend. Some beautiful buck out there. I saw a friend sent me a photograph, and this was down in southeast Minnesota in the I forgot the name of the town, doggone it. Down by Sioux Falls. No, southeast. Or southwest. I'm sorry. No, southwest. Down by Worthington. They shot just a spike buck. But my God, this thing it had the body of a 4 or 5-year-old. I mean, it was that huge. And I just love to see how people did over the weekend. Moving forward here, I'm going to get out and try and get some venison in the freezer this weekend up around the Alexandria area. How about yourself, Boom? Now, you just came back.
Yep, came back from Bacchus area and Hackensack. And you know what? The bucks were definitely in right. You know, Thane shot a spike buck, maybe a 3-pointer if you counted out the fork on the end. But that buck definitely came to the buck bomb. So the doe and estrus, it was really working. That thing was slobbering all over the scent. And Nicole and I are going to head up next weekend and try to get that big old buck because it's a lottery zone where we were up, and we weren't able to see or actually shoot any big bucks, but we did see that big body deer. My dad did see a big body deer in the morning. It was just at that time in the morning, the sun came up. I think sunrise was at 7:08, so you could shoot at 6:38. Dad could see it at about 6:25-ish, and it was just a big body deer walking down the trail, and Dad did the responsible thing. He didn't pull the trigger, but I tell you what, the buck are definitely in heat right now. And for all the deer hunters up there, if you didn't get that big buck this weekend, man, this next weekend is going to be really special. And if you're in northern Minnesota, I was just checking the weather. It's supposed to be really windy on Thursday, which means those deer are going to bed down, right? Because they don't like to move during the wind because they can't hear really well, and they'll bed down for the day. Friday and Saturday, if it is that windy on Thursday, they're going to be on the move.
Got to move, got to eat, got to drink.
And they got to eat and they got to drink and they got to they got to love their ladies.
You guys ever do this? This was something we always used to do back home, and I try and do it if I'm hunting in an area I'm familiar with, and that is go to the local watering hole. Yeah, to have a couple and do a little bragging afterwards, but to see how landowners around you did, if anybody got that big buck that maybe you saw move through your property and that sort of thing, kind of track it.
Yeah, you know what? We actually drive around the property where we're at in Bacchus.
See how everybody did.
Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere, all minimum maintenance roads, and we'll actually drive around the camps, when we take our lunch break, and we kind of drive around to see what deer we're hanging, and no one had that big 30-point buck. But yeah, we absolutely do that as deer hunters, men and women. You kind of drive around, you go to the local watering hole, you go to a local cafe for lunch, and check and see how everyone's doing. But
yeah,
we still got a chance for that big buck up there.
You know what I used to do is you used to not be able to register online. I remember I was driving to the hardware store or whatever, and you had to physically have someone come out and register your deer. So my dad and I would sit there in the parking lot for hours and watch the deer.
Is that after you smoked the marijuana on your land?
After the big marijuana harvest.
Come on now.
Well, they couldn't go horseback riding. They needed something to do. Just kidding, Mark. Just kidding, Mark.
Now,
inside story.
Now, it's true. We've got tomorrow's Veterans Day. Say hi to a vet. Depends when you're
Marines'
listening to this
birthday
podcast.
Today. Happy birthday to the Marines.
240 years ago today in 1775 in a bar called Tawn's Tavern in Philadelphia, two guys got into a fist fight and started the Marines. No, it wasn't quite like that. But
I heard you talking about this on your show.
Yeah, and it was. And I'm sorry, I don't have the names of the individuals that started the Marine Corps. But yeah, 240 years today for the Marine Corps, and happy birthday, Marines! Tomorrow, Veterans Day,
and it's also the anniversary of The Legend Lives On from the Chippewa.
Yeah,
number 40.
Yeah,
40 years ago.
Edmund
today.
Fitzgerald.
Edmund Fitzgerald. Right? They have Scott Fitzgerald went to the bottom. It's an old
For some reason,
joke.
I thought that was like the 1800s, but no, it was only 40 years ago.
No, yeah, just 40 years ago. Yeah, that was on the Edmund.
When did that song came out? 39 years ago.
Actually, I did hear an interview once with Gordon Lightfoot, who wrote it almost immediately after the wreck. In fact,
he did, correct.
Inspired by the news event, he had this Irish dirge, as he calls it. The song, the music for it, the melody. But he didn't have lyrics for it. He'd been kind of playing around with it, waiting for some lyrics to come to him. Saw the news story of the Edmund Fitzgerald going down, and then put the song together. So that was put together almost immediately. But yeah, the Edmund Fitzgerald was a large freighter. If you go up to Duluth now,
the largest one in the world at the time.
Yeah, if you go up to Duluth now, you'll still see some freighters that are very Edmund Fitzgerald looking, of those same models. I'm not a shipping guy, but. That was a
hard to believe that happened only like 200 miles away from here,
and not even the largest storm on Lake Superior. You've got to go back to, I believe, 1912, when over 100 ships were sunk, and what they called the winter hurricane of 1912. And over 230 some odd sailors ended up at the bottom of Lake Superior on that one. 80-mile-an-hour winds, and back in 1912.
I heard in Lake Superior the water's so cold. Like when ships sink and you go down there and there's like sailors clinging to things, like things don't rot. It's like totally pristine.
They found in that storm of 1912. I spent so much time up there, and we all do it in Ely and whatever. I love to read the little things you'll find in those cafes. Sometimes just read the back of your menu. It's pretty amazing. But reading at a small little bookstore up along the North Shore, I'm sorry, I forget what the name of it is, but I'm the guy that reads the book for a while the kids do something, and then I put it back and don't buy it. But I was reading that back in that storm of 1912, that with one of the particular ships that went down, that two of the young men on the ship washed up on shore the next day, frozen solid, grasping each other, and they were hugging each other, trying to stay alive. One was 16 and the other was 20, and they grew up together.
I hope Diana's not listening to this show, because I want to go down. I want to go whitewater rafting on the Colorado River here next year, a couple of years, and she hears this stuff. She's not going.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I would like to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Yeah. Kilimanjaro. I had a buddy that did that, and Well,
I want to give a big shout out to Craig Rudolph Jr. for popping in on our Facebook page right now, asking how he can buy one of our shirts. He just commented on our Facebook. Craig, all you got to do is click the link on Facebook, right, Producer Mark? And you can order it?
I did it on Teespring. So if you go to our Facebook page, there's an icon there, and you click, and you can select any size you want, up to 5X.
About $150 a piece.
I think there's $17, $16.50 a piece.
Okay, that's a lot better than $150.
And Mark or Boomer, whoever is correct, why don't you tell our listeners where we're going to be doing a live broadcast in a couple of weeks, right?
Well,
Clyde's Corner.
It's not finalized yet, but I believe we'll be going to the Hardwater Expo in Blaine at the National Sports Center.
Stop out and say hi.
All right, and I want to give a big shout out to Terry Horst Rusek, who's been commenting and liking a lot of our posts on Facebook.com. Terry, thanks for your support on social media, and share it with all your friends. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry.
You bet.
And to Big Buck Hunter, who actually commented. It looks like the company Big Buck Hunter commented when we shared that post of Sarah Erlandson, and said they can't wait to hear the interview. So, Big Buck Hunter, we appreciate all the support, and tell all your friends about the Four Outdoorsmen.
Four Outdoorsmen is kicking ass.
And we'll be back. We do this live on liveandsocial.com every Tuesday night. And next week, Drew and I, we're going to be talking about our trip up to Wings North. We're going to do a little upland bird hunting this Thursday.
And we're going to maybe have Tanner Cherney on from Devil's Lake Tourism. He just went on a guided hunt out west. And going to talk about what's going on in Devil's Lake.
All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll check in
Be
next
safe in the
Tuesday.
woods.
Thank you, Coors Light.